Hi, I'm Didi Benami from American Idol Season 9.
My name is Casey James.
Hi, this is Aaron Kelly from American Idol Season 9.
I'm Crystal Bowersox.
Hey, what's up? This is Tim Urban from American Idol.
The hardest part about living in the American Idol bubble is definitely, you're in a bubble. You can't really go out and do much. The only time we were actually had time to ourselves is I think our last day off when we were on the show was Easter Sunday. So I mean, it's very long process, and it's very drawn out. And the hardest part is, you don't have enough time to talk to people outside of the bubble, family and things. But so the only people really that we were close to is each other, the contestants, and it was like a big family.
Not getting to see my family and friends as much as I'd like to. I spent a little time away from my son because of all this, but in the big picture, knowing it's all for him, it just makes it worth all the while.
Hardest thing is just being away from your family. I think everybody's going to say that. Being away from what you know, your family, your friends, the things that you're used to and you love. It's hard, especially it wouldn't have been hard for me, honestly, had I known that I was going to be gone for 9 months. But it's like I packed for 2 days, like 280 days ago. And I was like, okay, guys, see you in a couple days. And I'm still gone, So I think about it like that, and it makes you miss home. But it also, I can't possibly have ever asked for anything more than what I've gotten from this, and so I feel really lucky. And everyone, back at home knows that I need to be where I'm at.
For me, the hardest thing has been kind of getting away from the support and just the kind of the family that I have back home. I haven't been able to get that support. I haven't been able to, I went back home. I was attending church very regularly, and it was very important to me. My beliefs are very important to me. And being out here, I haven't really had the opportunity just because of the schedules. And so for me, I've missed the just the kind of encouragement that brings, and the encouragement that is to myself. And so that's probably the hardest thing for me.
The thing that I've learned the most about myself through this experience is how strong I actually can be. And I mean, you're pretty strong after living through LA for 4 years, for sure. But being in the entertainment industry and being thrusted into it the way that we are is a completely different story. So you got to be really, really strong and have a really thick skin. I'm a strong woman. That's right.
Probably the biggest thing I've learned about myself is, how versatile I am to other styles of music. And, I've just learned so much, so many different genres and so many different artists that I wasn't very familiar with. I knew maybe one or two of their songs, but, in the changing of the weeks on the show, there was just so much in depth that you have to look at. You have to listen to every song and pick which one represents you the best. So I feel like that was probably one of the biggest learning things for me on the show.
Just how much I can take, how much you can really stomach and get through. It's not easy. It's exhausting on the road, but it's the best kind of exhaustion you can possibly have.
When you're in situations like I've been in my life, I've been really lucky that I've essentially kind of controlled my situations really well, and this whole thing is completely out of my control. And to be able to just accept that and to go where it goes and to be able to work in any situation that you're in and really keep focused is something that I've never really had to do to this extent before.
What I've learned is that the only way that I can actually exist in this kind of craziness, the only way I can actually do this and hopefully make it a career, is if I maintain the core of who I am and maintain the person that I was before all this started. I've learned that it's very, very important. And if I ever feel myself slipping away from that, I find myself lost. I find myself not really sure about what I want to do or where I want to go. So that's kind of one of the biggest things I've learned, is just that throughout the whole thing, I have to maintain who I am and what I believe. Because, if I lose that, then there's really no point. It's easy to kind of get carried away in different things. It's easy to let yourself get distracted. And for me, it's, I think for all of us, being put into the spotlight so quickly, it's almost easy to get caught up in the spotlight and to kind of get caught up in the fact that all of a sudden millions of people know who you are. And, if you really dwell on that, it can really get into your head. And so for me, it's just been important to not think about that and just remember that I'm here because I'm doing what I love, and I'm here to give back to whoever it is that's watching, whoever it is that's listening.
Biggest misconception of the show, I think, is that we have more time, that we have time at all. I think, really, because I think people go, well, you perform a minute and a half on Tuesday night, and you've got the rest of the week to do nothing, and literally every minute of every day is scheduled with something. And if you're not doing something, then you're about to do something, and you really don't have time for anything.
I think, the biggest misconception, like even for me when I watched the show, is I never realized how, it is so hard. When somebody doesn't have a good night, and, being the viewer, I just thought that it was, all the person. But, there's a lot that has to go into a performance. You have maybe you don't have very many days to learn a song, first off, and you only have so many times to rehearse it, and there's so many the hours that there's a lot of recordings and things that we're all doing behind the scenes. So your amount of time to learn a song and really get good at it is very, very slim. So I mean, that's probably one of the things. When I was on the show, I was like, okay, so that's how that works, and I didn't know that. So that was my misconception as I'm going on to the show. The hardest part was taking a song, maybe taking a song that I love so much and chopping it down to a mere 30 seconds. I mean, you're cutting half of the story, or you're cutting the bulk of the story out, and it's just a bunch of words when you're singing it. And so that's one of the hardest parts. They tell you to understand the song that you're singing, and you have to know what you're singing about, but you really can't when it's just a bunch of words that you're chopping apart a song.
I hear a lot of people walk up to me and be like, hey, you're the guy that smiles, Yes, I do smile. And for me, it's kind of weird that that's kind of defined who I am for certain people. And so that's not really a misconception, because I do smile, and I do love life, and I do love what I'm doing. But I think that to an extent that stops people from taking me seriously in certain situations, And, so that's kind of something that I feel like people have a misconception about, is that, that there's a more serious side to me.
There's been a few. The ones that touch me the most are the crying fans, the ones who just are completely overcome and they can't believe that they're in your presence. And I'm just thinking I'm some simple girl off a farm in Ohio. I'm like anybody else, and the fact that I'm able to just be myself and be who I am and just be there to affect someone's life is pretty incredible.
The fans have been crazy supportive. It's been nuts. One of the coolest things that's happened for me is this group of fans put together this 100-page scrapbook from letters from people all over the country and a couple from all over the globe. And it's 100 pages. It's got a table of content where you can flip through to page 45 and find this, and and just stuff like that. And that was really cool for me, because I realized how many people put time and effort into that, and just how much support that really took for them to put that all together, and it really blew me away.
This was a very cool thing that happened. We went to the Shrek 4, I think it was Shrek 4 screening, or it's a special preview or something like that, and Antonio Banderas and Eddie Murphy were there, and Antonio Banderas, immediately upon meeting us, comes up to me and gives me a hug, and he says, my wife wanted me especially to tell you that she says hello. And I was like, that just happened. Melanie Griffith and Antonio Banderas were in their house having a conversation to the extent that she told him to say hi to me. And I was like, that was just so cool to me, It put me in a whole different, I was like, even people that I look up to and appreciate their abilities as actors or musicians or whatever they may be are, being affected by what I'm doing. So it was really cool.
The best fan encounter, I would have to say, was when one of my Twitter followers, actually, because she tweeted me, and her name is Stormy Seas. She gave me a really cool guitar strap that has suns all over it, and it's red, and it's absolutely beautiful. And I used to have a backpack that looked kind of like it had those suns on it, and it had a moon It's kind of like yin and yang. But it reminded me of that. And I actually wore it as a belt because I already had a guitar strap on my guitar and didn't need one. But it's cool. I'm going to put it on my guitar when I get home. So, guitar straps have all sorts of uses. You can wear them as belts as well. Fashion statement. I am a musician. Hello.
The best fan moment for me, actually there was one that was really recent. I had a fan, she wrote me a song, and she came to the show early because they wait outside for us to come out of the buses, and she had a ukulele, and she just stood there and she played a song for me that she had written, and she had a beautiful voice. So I mean, I was all beaming. I didn't really know what to say after that because you're standing around, a bunch of the fans are there. But I mean, it was really cool that she took the time to write a song, and she was, maybe we'll see her on the show someday. So I mean, it was really cool that she took the time to do that. I can't grasp that because I don't know how it works. I've never been so much of a I obviously Rascal Flatts. I mean, I am a huge fan. Obviously, I would definitely wait outside their bus to get their autograph. But I mean, it's so I mean that to know that there's people out there who are much as a fan of me as they are of somebody that I look up to. I look up to Rascal Flatts, but there's people who look up to me in that sense, and it's really cool to think that I'm an inspiration to somebody, and because that's what I want to be. I want to be able to inspire people and be here as a mark that I'm 17 years old, music's what I love, and I'm chasing my dream right now.
I get to make a record, Sony in Nashville, so I'll be moving out there, and just trying to get things together for the record and doing figuring out production and just everything. So anytime I get a chance to breathe, I'm thinking about the things in the future, because I just want to be as prepared as I can for when this ends. I can jump right into the next thing, get going, because I know there's people out there that are ready to hear the music, so I'm ready to give it to them.
After the tour, I'm going to take a couple days off, get some needed rest and family time, and then get right back to work. I'll be recording an album and hopefully either a fall or spring release, and I've got a lot of pre-Idol material, stuff that I've been writing, for years. But the one thing the tour has allowed me time to write. I'm in hotel rooms and late night sessions and stuff. And my son's not with me on tour, so I actually have a minute of free time. So I've been doing a lot of writing and collaborations and things. So lots of stuff in the works.
Next for me is to go home and make an album. And that kind of will define what happens after that, because it all depends on how the album does. But my plan is to get an album and get it out by the end of November at the latest. I've got some people back home, and we've already set up when we're going to be in the studio. And I've written pretty much all the songs that are going to be on the album. So, just kind of making sure I get that done very quickly. But I also want to pursue acting. And so depending on how the CD goes, my goal is to move out to LA by the end of this year or start of next year to pursue acting as well.
Well, I've always been really interested in acting, actually. So singing, I just like being on stage. I like entertaining and inspiring people, and this is what I was built to do. This is what God put me here to do. And I think I when I sing, I also it's all entertainment to me. It's all in the same realm. You put yourself into everything you do. It's like an as-if situation, and either whether it be in a song, which for me songs are easier because I sing them and they're from my heart and soul, and I really, really mean them, which I would with acting too, but it's just different. It's, you're speaking instead of singing. So to me, it kind of is in the same realm. And I like being on camera. It's fun. I started working on an album before I started Idol. I was writing. I hadn't actually recorded anything yet, other than 2 demos. But I am planning on finishing that record. And I do want to do a record for my friend Rebecca of her songs, and have the proceeds of that go to the Rebecca Joyler Memorial Fund in Wichita, Kansas, which is where she's from. And I would like to get into some acting and film and commercials and maybe even do some broadcasting. And this is Didi Benami signing off.
Can we redo that thing real quick, though?
Yeah.
All right, I don't want to say how you guys doing because they can't actually answer me.
Woo!